Greeting everyone, we are the BuckeyeGO. We want to propose a mobility testing ground in the OSU, supported by Mobile Sprint. We'll start with an overview, explain the problem and our solution, and combine our data with the living lab and show you our conclusion. This is our team. I'm Hattie. I'm a second-year finance and econ major student. This is Stacy. She's a first-year pre-mechanical student. Alex, a second-year CSE student, and Robbie, third-year electrical engineer. Our solution aims to support companies that are innovating in the field of mobility and sustainability and to benefit campus mobility at OSU. Our presentation will outline a new system that will redefine how all members of the Ohio State community get around campus. Finally, the data collected by the Living Laboratory will be reutilized in the design for future solution.
So let's move on to the problem definition. We've identified three main issues currently with the system implemented in OSU. The lack of testing grounds. New products are constantly being developed every day by companies. The process of testing has many facets that are difficult to acquire, such as where to test, who will volunteer or be paid to test, how can we ensure a sufficient amount of data is collected, and what method will be used to collect the data. Another issue is student congestion. There is no singular method of getting across campus as of current, and the infrastructure is not designed well for the variety. Cars will drive on sidewalks, scooters drive in the streets, and people walk everywhere. A way to track different types of traffic could assist in reordering and repurposing underutilized areas. Finally, energy efficiency. Fossil fuels are a big issue for the next 50 years. Electric motors and vehicles powered by reusable energy will be essential to overcome this issue. Creating solutions that can allow for more than one person to move per unit will alleviate traffic and conserve more energy. Let's look at our solution. Our solution that we have is called BuckeyeGO. BuckeyeGO is an entirely new program implemented through Ohio State and its campus. It will allow companies to test new mobility products hosted on the campus, such as electric scooters, autonomous vehicles, and other sort of methods of transporting people around. This allows for a closed environment, and the products will be programmed so that they will not be able to leave campus. It will allow for innovation as companies are able to receive instant feedback on products before hitting the market.
Here's a bit about how BuckeyeGO works. So companies are able to take a mobility product that they're working on or have already developed, such as some electric vehicle. They can pitch the idea to Ohio State. Companies are able to pay Ohio State to have their products implemented on campus because OSU is providing the service of experimentation, feedback, and data collection for the company. Ohio State would have a team specifically dedicated to BuckeyeGO. This team would be able to determine if the product is safe to test on campus, determine what products are best to test, and determine what products could have the greatest impact on sustainability and which ones are most energy efficient. The products selected are then implemented onto campus for students to use. As mentioned earlier, they cannot leave campus. We would plan to designate paths for vehicles based on living laboratory data, which will be talked about later. And at the end of the semester, students fill out a survey giving feedback on the vehicles that they tested. They would be incentivized to do it because the best products may be kept on campus by Ohio State. And then the Living Laboratory also provides feedback to the companies as discussed later. Companies can then use this feedback to improve upon their product, having real consumer feedback and data. And then the company could revise and start again from step one, testing again at Ohio State. But when the product is ready, it can hit the market. This product can then be sold to the general public, implemented into cities. It could also be sold to Ohio State or other universities, or the product could be sold to other workplace campuses that have similar closed environments for travel. BuckeyeGO also has a focus on sustainability. The vehicles implemented would be mostly electric vehicles unless a company is able to innovate and pitch a new sustainable mobility product that is better and more energy efficient. With mobility being easier from the electric vehicles provided on campus, people would be less likely to require cars or other gas-powered vehicles to travel on campus. And this would help increase Ohio State's overall energy sustainability. Solar-powered charging stations for vehicles could also be implemented for the electric vehicles, which could also help to potentially create independent jobs for students to make sure vehicles get charged properly, offering them some BuckeyeD debit for taking care of the vehicles. This here is an example of the type of product that could be implemented on campus. This here is an autonomous 4-seat golf cart type of vehicle that could take students to and from classes. This would again use paths that are determined by living laboratory data. And if vehicles like this are popular enough among students, are energy efficient, and are proven to decrease campus congestion, then Ohio State could invest in the products to keep them around for a more longer term.
BuckeyeGO would operate through the already existing Ohio State app, similar to the bus system. This service will either be free because the companies will pay for them, or there might be a small fee included in the tuition, similar to the bus fee. This will encourage students to utilize the vehicles because they do not need to pay for each individual use. Also, a BuckeyeGO system will be connected to the student's Black ID. This will allow OSU to hold students accountable for any damage or misuse of the vehicles. OSU can also place a hold on students' account, restrict use, or prohibit a student from using the vehicles. This is also where students can share their feedback about the vehicles. So the living laboratory will allow us to create a more efficient transportation system while providing intensive feedback for OSU, participating companies, and anyone who would like to access the database. So to create a comfortable system for students to use the vehicles, the living laboratory can be used to identify paths that are least taken by walkers. This will allow for a safe pathway for the vehicles to travel with minimal pedestrian traffic. Also, the living laboratory will help identify areas where there is the highest concentration of students. These areas will be ideal for docking the vehicles because more people will have easy and immediate access to them. This will allow for more data to be recorded since more students will utilize the vehicles. Due to the large database recorded via the living laboratory, trends can be identified, such as which vehicles are the most popular among students. These vehicles can potentially become a permanent part of the OSU campus, similar to the golf carts that were shown before. This information would also be helpful for the participating companies to evaluate their design based on the data, while non-participating companies can purchase and access the database.
In summary, BuckeyeGO allows for testing and intensive user feedback, which is crucial for product development. In using the Ohio State app, students can voice their opinions about the new vehicle, and this information can later be used by companies to improve their vehicle. Also, since vehicles that are going to be implemented on campus are required to be energy conscious, students will have the opportunity to use energy-efficient vehicles even if they don't own a vehicle themselves. And the living laboratory will allow for a smart traffic system to become created to reduce congestions on campus. This concept can also be applied to other university campuses, following by a pilot program in the summer semester in OSU, following the model at Ohio State to implement more testing grounds throughout the US. This is our sources page, and thank you for listening. We hope to see you at the next round.